they give me a test of say hello.
Are we significantly? I don't want to do significantly so, do I? Because we don't know which direction. Just say inform.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Mention relaunch.
Yep. So you ready for me?
Just a test.
Okay. Welcome back to Inform Magazine, the relaunch, February 2022, coming to you. How is that? Good projection? Say and spell your name, and then we'll be able to pick up.
Okay. Soyini Hawkins, Soyini Hawkins.
Great audio.
We're good on audio. Good deal. How are you doing?
So
We're good? Do I look pretty?
ready?
Beautiful.
Thank you. I just need people to tell me. Okay. Welcome to the relaunch of Inform Magazine. I am Loving LeAnn, your lead correspondent, and super thrilled to have Dr. Soyini Hawkins to help us relaunch this informative, educational, inspiring magazine that highlights people like Dr. Hawkins in our community. So, without further ado, I have to introduce to you my girl, my sister friend.
Yes.
I know women in lab coats. Dr. Soyini Hawkins, how are you?
I am wonderful, and thank you so much for this time and experience and talk. I am so looking forward to it.
I am telling you, I've already told you, you just have to let me fangirl for a little while. I am just so proud of you and how you flourished, the relationship that you play in for us women. You know, we have challenges that only we can relate to.
Absolutely.
And even on a deeper level, a woman of color that can relate to those challenges even deeper.
Absolutely.
And so you serve that ministry.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. I do feel like what I do is a ministry. I was called to it and purposed in it, and I absolutely love what I do.
So what is the best part of your day?
The best part of my day, honestly, is after surgery, when I see the patients in the morning, they're like, oh, when can I go home? And I'm like, praise God. You feel good, you look good, you're going to do good. The reward that we get in helping women and just overcoming what they felt have been struggles in their life.
Yeah.
Just feeling that someone has chosen themselves and now has done something about it and has done well through the process. That's everything.
That's everything. And I'm telling you, from not only understanding, but being, look, I don't know, am I a survivor? I don't know what to call myself, but I know that I've been in the struggle. I'm a warrior. And so understanding that,
Absolutely.
I mean, there are true challenges, but I want to know, before we get all into that, were you like 3 saying, I am going to be a gynecologist, I am going to be a surgeon? How did this come about, ma'am?
The funny thing is I don't have any doctors in my family. I never, ever aspired to be a doctor in my young years. I did have a fabulous aunt that was a nurse. Okay. And I wanted to be a nurse. And on TV, I used to see, like, paramedics. And I used to want to be a paramedic. I knew I was driven to serve in the capacity of some type of medical field. But it was a 5th grade teacher that was like, oh, you don't want to be a doctor? I was like, what's that? I've been to the doctor, but never thought about it because I didn't have any examples of that to look up to. And that's where it started, 5th grade. I will never forget it.
You said the word example, and I think that's why I just gravitate towards Black excellence, women in these spaces, just commanding and dominating what they're doing and loving what they're doing because the representation truly does matter.
It matters. It absolutely does. For generations to come and to help us take care of ourselves and each other better, representation does matter. Right.
100%. So who was that 5th grader that the teacher leaned into? Were you the child? Because there's always different people in class, right? There's the talkative that I don't care where you move my desk, I'm going to talk to somebody. You know, there's the class clown. There's, you know.
I was the people pleaser.
Were you the teacher's pet?
I still am.
Really?
I still am. It's like a good thing and a bad thing sometimes.
Right.
But I think I am. I'm still the people pleaser. I was like, you know, the teacher's pet, wanted to be number 1 in the line, but I also wanted to help whatever classmate needed a little bit more tutoring. I think I was very astute academically.
Yeah.
I didn't like PE. I wasn't perfect. I didn't spell well. My handwriting sucked. Still does.
You were destined to be a doctor.
right. But I wanted to please my teachers, and I wanted to please my parents.
Yeah.
My parents were immigrants to this country, and, you know, honestly, making them happy was one of the things that just really inspired me early on.
Yeah. So tell me how that looks, being a child of immigrants and the different type of challenges.
Absolutely. It was humbling.
Yeah.
For the simple fact, like I said, I didn't have that example of people that were lawyers and doctors in my family. I'm not to take anything away. My daddy was an engineer. My grandfather is an engineer. Engineers just run through. And I thought being so into math and science, maybe engineering. But somehow medicine kept shifting me and pulling me. And my mother does IT, but she went to school to be a fashion designer.
Oh,
my mama put this whole outfit together.
Right. Okay.
So early on, being a child of immigrants to this country, and I was born in Jamaica as well. My parents came here searching excellence. They went to Howard, they got married, they graduated, they came back to Jamaica and got me and my older brother and brought us to America. We lived in a 2-bedroom apartment in D.C., the 4 of us.
Wow.
And my mother and my father just worked their way up. So it was a very humbling experience. I would say I came from humbling beginnings, and it's taught me now, really honestly, to make sure that my children, who I do feel are a little bit privileged, still can ground themselves in that start.
Right.
Where I started from, where mama started from.
Yeah, definitely. So when you take that journey, so your parents left you in Jamaica. So how was that? Did you feel like they're going to get us a better life, or did you feel a little abandoned? Or
it's funny because I feel like when I was younger, my grandmother raised me in those first 5 years. And when I was separated from my grandmother and came to America, coming to what I did not know, and to people I felt like I did not know. My mother left me when I was under 1. I was truly a baby when she left. So coming to live with people who I did not know, speaking a language that I understood, but they didn't understand me.
Right. Okay.
And getting a little bit bullied every once in a while about that. And, like I said, my English wasn't great, my spelling wasn't great, my handwriting. And in those early formative years, that did a lot to me.
I'm sure.
It did, but I grew to appreciate and look up to my parents, and like I said, I just wanted to make them proud in everything I did. But it was a challenge first coming here.
I'm sure. Even the language barrier, and one thing, we all seek to be understood.
Absolutely.
We all seek to be
100%.
Understood. I don't care who you are and how you think that you don't need people, because we hear a lot of people saying, I can do this, but I don't need people. Everybody seeks to be understood.
Absolutely.
So being a little person and thinking,
it was rough. Being like, you need to go learn English. I was like, I do speak English.
Right.
That's why it's English.
Right. You need to speak what I
Right. Can you slow down? I'm just like
right. Exactly. So what do you think it was in you? Because your story could have broken somebody else. That being, and I don't want to use the word abandoned because I don't want to dishonor what your mom did, because she did that for a bigger purpose.
For a bigger purpose.
But it feels like you left me. You know what I'm saying? Regardless, you left. It feels like you left me. But somebody would have taken that and felt broken and said, if my mama doesn't love me, if my mama can leave me, and these people are not understanding me. They're not giving me what I need to develop. They don't even know what they need. Right. But it's just, so what do you think separated your path from someone else's?
I think it was the example of what my parents were setting for me and my older brother. I mean, my mother went to GW and graduated from there, and like I said, went on to IT and excelled and advanced in her career, not in fashion design, but in information technology. And with that example of excellence, in Jamaican households, very similar to African households, not excelling is not acceptable. Right. It was never okay to just get a B. I got B's.
Right.
But even my children now, my mother-in-law, they just got their report cards and they made all A's. And for the baby, he's only in first grade, so it's like all excellence.
Right. Give me my smiley face.
And my mother-in-law asked me today if they would have made B's, would that have been okay? And I said, it would have been okay. I wouldn't have been mad about it, but I wouldn't have said it was good.
Right.
And it's just because that's how I grew
Right.
up. So I think the example that was set for me allowed me to overcome that. I saw what they were doing, and I was reminded of that. And then I also got occasions to go home to Jamaica and see my grandparents, which I, of course, obviously were very close to.
Right.
So my parents, once they realized that that separation wasn't healthy, they made sure they fortified and filled in the gaps. And then also showed the purpose of what they did when they did it and why. Right? And so even though we were poor, I never felt poor.
Right.
And without love.
Love covers a multitude.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you, you don't even
100%.
know. I was poor too, and I didn't know I was poor. I really had people calling me rich girl, and I was like, okay, so. But I always had what I needed, and that was enough.
Absolutely, that was enough. Because of the love.
Yeah.
Because of the love.
That's good. I love you. I love your spirit. So let's move on. So were you ever a challenge child? Like, what was that moment where you ran into, because I had that moment where I decided I am just going to live and be liberated and have me an attitude and, my parents were probably that close to me not being here to tell this story. So where were you?
Because they want to snatch you. They
snatch my snow.
I brought you into this world. I take you out. No, I think my parents would say I was a good child. The challenge that they had with me, if I'm going to be honest, because I love the honesty between us when we talk, right? Boys were my weakness.
Yeah. I think they're right. We love the boy.
My weakness.
Yeah.
But my daddy, I'll be very specific about who snatched me up out of that one.
Right.
He laid the law down and was able to redirect and focus me and tell me what the boys' intentions were.
Right.
What I needed to put my focus on. And even though it took me a couple of times and a couple of whoopings to get it right, eventually I got on track.
Right.
But no, I love school.
Yeah.
My oldest child is like that. My youngest child, you kind of got to be like, did you do your homework? My oldest child, I never have to ask him, did he do his schoolwork?
Right.
And I was that child.
Yeah.
My parents didn't have to check behind me. I loved school.
Right. Where do you think that love of learning, is that innate?
It was innate.
Yeah.
Because, not that I don't think my parents would have. I think that I speak for myself. I think I got lucky that my oldest loves school, and it was innate. But I also think he had a good foundation. He had a really, really good nanny when he was 1 and 2 who read to him every day.
Yeah.
So some of that absolutely has to be nurtured, but I do think it's innate. Because my baby, get that boy a ball.
He's like, I want to play. He's like, I want to play.
He's different. Innate. What comes innately to him is different than what came innately to my older child.
Certainly.
Well,
you just said nanny, and the whole community was like, how she had a nanny?
All Jamaicans.
Okay.
All Jamaicans, even the poorest of Jamaicans, have nannies and housekeepers and people that help. We're all about community. It's a part of my culture.
That is beautiful.
You do not have to be rich to get supported by your community in my culture.
Oh, wow.
It is.
So
everyone has a name.
Being here in the States, where even the Black community, where unfortunately, and we're not all bad, I never want to be the media that drives the narrative that everybody else drives. We have some beautiful people with some beautiful spirits within our community. But we also are, I don't know, the word, I can't think of another word but challenged to understand that community and unity were better. But I don't know, it's just some learned behaviors that we've adapted that now it's hard to break. So how do you work that into who you are now and how you navigate through your life?
I think that I don't know if lucky is the word, but I think I was, in a sense, lucky or blessed enough to have that community as a foundation early because of my culture, right? So I know you guys, I say you guys, Americans, Black Americans, we talk about Sunday dinners at grandma's house. We had that. That was standard. You know what I mean? We spent our weekends with family. Some of our neighbors who were Jamaican families that my parents went to Howard with, right?
Okay.
It's a big Caribbean community at Howard. We went to their house after school. We went to their house and let grandma teach us Sunday school. We got together and had large meals. I mean, a party popping every month.
Right.
Of just people coming together.
Yeah.
So community it was just what we did. And a parts of that community was also making sure that if this child needed money for clothes or school or to get into the private school, we got together and did it. And I also now, being very, very, very Americanized, my husband fortifies that. So we get with other couples and, people that are like-minded and are doing the things that we want to do or, aspire to. Sometimes older couples, sometimes younger couples that we could feed into. And my husband always talks about that networking, surrounding yourself with people who you really honestly want to learn from. Not that we're always trying to get something out of somebody. But that, I think, has been helpful. That sense of community just being natural, innate as I grew up. And then my husband really, really, really encouraging me, even though I can be, a little shy. Hard to believe. I can be shy. Networking and getting together with community for him is super important. And then we lift each other up through that. I agree with you. We could do more. It could be better.
We could do more. I think we should be intentional about doing more.
Absolutely.
I do.
It takes being intentional, too.
It does. It does, definitely. So while we're talking about husband, let's definitely shout out Mr. Hawkins and tell me a little bit about how that came to be. Because you got some longevity with this man.
Would you believe that he knocked on my door? Did I tell you about this?
No! So when they tell me I cannot sit in the house and wait for my husband, somebody ain't telling the truth.
They had knocked on my door. Osei Hawkins used to sell meat and groceries. Like he was the, what do you call it now? Instacart before Instacart.
Okay.
Yes, you placed your order, the man went, got it, and brought it to your house. So he was kind of acquiring new relationships and new customers, and I had just moved into a new townhouse development in Decatur.
Okay.
And he knocked on my door, and I looked at the truck outside with his name on the side of it first, and I was like, whatever. And when I saw this man cross my window, I said, oh, hold on.
Let me get myself all the way together.
Let me open this door. And that was the beginning of what now has been 13 years of marriage and 16 years of beautiful friendship.
Wow.
He knocked on my door.
Oh.
Prayers.
There's hope. Look, where's my Uber guy and my Lyft?
Where's my Instacart man?
I'm going to start ordering more. I was thinking about Food Fresh. What is it? Fresh? Good? Fresh? There's something.
Yes,
there's somebody that sends you some food. They
Come to the door, sir.
They're not a sponsor, so we won't. I don't even care if I say their wrong name wrong.
Hilarious. Come to the door, sir.
So tell me how it is to be the Black woman physician, right? Dealing with Black women and women in general. And, we're kind of stereotyped that we can't really get along. And then here you are with your sweet, beautiful spirit floating in the room. And I feel like you would have to dismantle everything that anybody has ever said negative about us.
And that speaks volumes. And I can't allow myself to feed into that.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to feel like I have to prove myself everywhere I go, right? Because I'll be honest, a lot of times, so even as a surgeon, I primarily do surgery. And when I go to new facilities, and it's kind of this unspoken, you are not good until you prove yourself to be. Okay. Or, it's just another Black woman surgeon coming in here. She doesn't have any technical skills, and she's going to be a B. She's going to be mean. She's going to shout at everybody. She's going to have attitude. That's kind of what is the preconceived expectation of us before we even get there and started.
Right.
I set myself to a higher standard and also purpose entering the room. I can't feed into that, and I don't allow it at all to manage how I behave with people. I say hi to everybody in the hall. I try to remember names. I'm not good at it. You know what I mean? But from the person that's the janitor and cleaning the bathroom to who is introducing themselves to me when I walk in the door and saying hi to my patients, to the anesthesiologist, everybody knows that I'm going to be nice. I don't shout. I don't scream. I'm about my business. I'm about the care of my patients, but I do it in a very pleasant way. And I've actually been told over the years, don't change. Right. That is something that is not necessarily the norm or even the expectation of what we do. But I mean, even in the way I've trained and taught younger physicians coming behind me, I will tell them, you do not have to be a B. No. You do not have to scream and shout. You don't have to be angry. You don't have to raise your voice. You can get respect by simply giving it and just being present and showing your greatness. Yeah. Period. We can change that narrative.
Absolutely.
We have to.
We have to. And that is a good segue because I tell you, your colleague, oh my goodness, once again, I'm trying not to fangirl. I'm actually trying not to cry. I've loved this lady for 20-something years. I've loved this lady.
I heard.
Oh my gosh, I'm telling you, she's been through divorces with me. She's healed me, you know, and not even on the surgery table, but just when she comes in a room. And I know she's present. You said it. You said the present.
Yes.
And I know that she loves doing what she does, and I know that she has a love for me.
Oh my gosh.
And so I'm going to bring her up and let her take the seat, and we're going to do some banter off my doctors. I know ladies in lab coats. I am so excited about that. Yes. And so, Dr. Angela Hudson, you ready to take your seat next to Dr. Soyini Hawkins? I am so excited. I'm so excited. I'm also almost.
Can I hug her?
You absolutely can hug her.
Her spirit just spoke
Oh
to
my
me.
gosh, that is. Yeah, oh my gosh. I
Her
cannot
spirit
believe.
just spoke to
I
me.
love them. I'm telling you.